Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of the Weekly Catch-Up. Yes, well, we got in extremely quick this week, and joining us, as usual, from, I don't know if it's sunny, but West Virginia, is Jeffrey K. Holbrook. Let's see if we can get him in.
Yay, here we are.
By miracle.
Yeah. Excellent. It's 2 weeks in a row. What are we talking about here? Yeah, no, it's actually the sun hasn't come up yet, but it is starting to get daylight here.
Oh, well, that's good. That's good.
So it's good to have daylight.
I think maybe Blab have done something different because, like you said, it maybe they've had other issues because it's been really strange. Twice in a row I've got in just connecting like you should do.
Well, I was listening to a podcast this week, and they said that the king of Blab or president or whatever the title is is talking about that they're not as much into having shows on here as much as they are just personal connections. And so I'm thinking, and they said they're not taking anything away right now, was what I heard. I haven't heard the actual announcement, but there is, it's free and it's beta. And if they don't charge, there is a limit to how much free giveaway or bandwidth with all the free recordings they're giving away and stuff like that. And I was wondering, you're wondering how long such a thing can last, but evidently they are starting to have a bit of a bandwidth issue. But we'll see. But I mean, they're not kicking anybody out or anything, but it's just one of those things that they're, that they kind of talked about, and they're less about organized shows and getting features that people want for that. And they are just wanting to have personal connections between people.
Well, I mean, say even like this one, we call it an organized show, but it's just really is a catch up, isn't it? It's really just has a beginning. It has an intro and an ending.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's a blab.
Yeah, it's a blab, and we're doing that, like you say, but we're not demanding that they come up with new services for us. No. You're taking the video and doing your magic with it on the other end and putting the things you're doing. I am taking the audio and making a podcast out of it. And we're basically using this as a place where we can come get together, catch up, talk about stuff we want to. And then at the same time, then we get content that we can each put on our respective channels. And so, I
have noticed something different, though, is usually when I start the blab, it usually says, do you want to tell all your followers? We used to put on a little button to click. Doesn't come up anymore. Since I've been able to get in correctly. Whenever I couldn't get in, then it would come up. So click this button to tell all the people who are following you, but it doesn't come up anymore now.
Well, so, it wouldn't surprise me if there might be some things that maybe aren't being used a whole lot that they might, maybe start pulling out, so that it won't take up the bandwidth and it'll improve the things that you have left, I guess. I mean, this is all an assumption on my part. I'm not totally sure.
Yeah, and when you see it, it is at the lowest possible bandwidth to make it viewable and that, because it's better with the two screens like we've got here. When you go a single screen, it's not as good because I suppose it's more tailored for the two small screens or even the four smaller screens on there, which it does quite a good job.
Well, one of the things that I found was early on, I mean, we got a better internet connection now than what we used to have, but when I first started getting on Blab, I found that I could be in a blab with 3 people, whether I started it or somebody else did. But once that 4th person came in, all of a sudden, everything just started, sidelining and making all kinds of noise. So it's the bandwidth of where it's at your house. Now, though, I'm directly connected in. Once that drunk driver took down our telephone pole and took our cable and jerked it out of the side of the house, and they had to replace it with real cable because they still have the old 70s stuff. And so once they did that, all of a sudden we've got great bandwidth and everything's fine. And so, but now I can be in a blab with 4 people without any trouble at all. But back then I couldn't. So part of it is our bandwidth, and then part of it is how much they're pumping out with all these things going on at one time, and then sending people free copies of their stuff, so.
Well, that's what I thought. It's, they're not only giving you the bandwidth, but they're storing it. So they're got the double the issue. They're doing that and then storing it and leaving it there for prosperity. They should say, well, we're doing it there, but it's only going to be there for 30 days and then we'll erase it.
Well, no, I could, especially since it's free. I mean, 30 days is enough to go in and get your stuff, you know. I mean, you know, or if they just automatically send it or something like that, you know. So I mean, and then give you even a couple of weeks. I mean, that would be fair. It's free. What, you know, we're not paying anything for it, and it's a very, very good service for the recording and stuff. I'm sorry, I was just gonna say we may eventually want to be looking into some alternative just in case they do kind of shut us down. So, you know, when it's free, they don't survive too long. And I know in podcasting anyway, whenever somebody does something for free over the last 10, 11 years, it doesn't last too long because they can't afford to do it.
Well, when I wasn't interested in doing it, there was always one, and I could sign it, I don't know if you remember, Justin TV. Do you remember that one?
I remember hearing of it, but I never did.
Well, it was one of those ones where you could get free access to stream, and that it was quite good. And the thing that killed that was somebody bought it for $980 million.
That would do it.
And so the people who did it, and they got it sold to Twitch.
Oh, okay.
That's streaming. But they bought that, but then it stopped all. Everybody's accounts got closed, and that was the end of that.
That was the end of that.
So now they had more, because they found that like with Twitch, it's just like streaming up games, isn't it, all day long or something like that. But so now there's only Ustream, which is another good alternative, but that's quite costly. That can cost you, for a decent site or a different thing to stream on that, it's about $1,500 a year.
Oh wow, okay. Well, I mean, again, for a business, that's not bad, you know. But for an individual, that's why I think that they want to tailor this toward individuals, is simply because, you know, people can't. Just the average person that just wants to get on there and have a chat with somebody can't really afford, you know, $1,500 a year. I can't. I'd like to retire one day, you know, and so my money's going to other things. But if you have a business and it's part of your business expenses, you're deducting it, everything, you know, then $1,500 a year really isn't a bad price. But then they have to deliver the service. If it's in beta like this is and it's free, we don't happen to get one of our shows or something, it's kind of like, well, why can't you just say it was free? You know?
That's right.
You know, you do your best.
But that's what the thing is as well. Even if you can afford the $1,500, you've got to say, well, am I getting my money's worth out of it? When there are other cheaper alternatives about, as we said,
right? As
long as we can see face to face, have a chat. And do that, and this does more than you'd want to. You can have get people in there. You've got a chat pod in there to communicate back with people, and so really, you know, it is quite a good service. But I'm still trying to think. Well, things like this, it's got to make money somehow, or else it will just disappear.
Yeah. Well, they had a. They were asked initially. My pick of the week is a guy I'm going to talk to that had to spend a lot of time talking to them about that. Anyway, Dave Jackson had talked to them about that at the very beginning, because he's been podcasting since the beginning. He's been doing it about 11 years now. And so he knows, and he could just name, he doesn't have enough fingers to name the companies that started for free and were doing things, you know, that were just great. And then all of a sudden they just hit the fan, and that was the end of it, because you can't sustain it if no money's coming in. You can do it for a while, but then when you run out of capital, you're just done. And I think the whole idea is to get a lot of clientele and offer such a great service that they will be wanting to pay for it whenever the time comes. You know, but then it crashes before you start paying. And so they wait too late, and then the business model just gets unwieldy and crashes under its own weight. I think I hear William snoring back there.
I would have come online a bit earlier, but I kept shaking him and moving his pillow, because he's a dog, and I thought if I move his pillow out of the way, he won't snore so much.
Oh, well, that's
he
all right.
is snoring. When I was coming back just before the show, I was just listening to somebody else saying about this startup company that's trying to float their shares on the stock market, and they were saying how bad of an idea it was, and how dare they? This company had made 1.5 million, not billion, $1 million revenue last year, but they lost $68 million.
Oh, wow.
And so we said, that's not sort of, to start off with, that doesn't, they said, you don't have to be a genius to figure out, that doesn't sound like it's going to be a good investment. And the fellow on the radio was saying, he said, but it's a bit like Spotify, saying it was the same sort of industry as that. And he said, but it's like Spotify. He said they did something incredible, like however many, $15 billion in revenue, but they're still yet to turn a profit.
Wow.
It's that they still haven't. Said, so what makes you think somebody that's turned $1 million or just over $1.5 million in the year, lost tens of millions of dollars in the year, when something like Spotify, who's making billions, can't turn a profit yet? So they're just going to turn around and says, why would you invest in it? And said, how can the stock exchange or whatever dare think about listing a company like that? They said, because there's only poor fools like us who might say, "Oh, be on the bottom floor for this company," because the company might be worth billions, but it's not making any money.
Yeah, well, if they took that $1 million they made and gave it to the stock, exchange, they would probably list them. Here you go. Here's $1 million. Now you can list it. So we made $1 million. Yay! No, don't worry about the other 68.
But like they were saying, though, it's fools like, not so much us, but the money that we're saving for our retirement. I think you call it your 401.
They have 401ks, which I have.
That's your retirement.
Yeah, I have. What you have your regular retirement, and then a 401k is something that is specifically designed for you to put money into as you work to invest toward additional retirement funds that it's just yours, and then it's invested based on however the fund that you're in is set up. But you can't get it without paying a huge penalty before retirement. It is specifically set up for retirement. Yeah. Now we have something.
Yeah, we have the same.
Go ahead.
I said we have the same thing, but it's not called the 401k, but it's exactly the same thing. But it's, you get it from where you work, and they put into it, and they pay into it as well, and you can do that. But it's the same sort of thing, but just called superannuation.
Okay.
It's the same.
401k is actually the Infernal Revenue Service designation. the article or whatever it is that authorizes them is 401k. Now what I have is called a Thrift savings plan, which is very similar, but it actually is through the federal government because of the fact that I work for the Postal Service. And then they match you certain amounts up to certain percentages, or whatever. You put $1 in, they put $1 in, and it goes like that. And then after that, what they match you, then you can just go a lot above that and put even more money into it. Then you can invest it in very safe funds that don't make very much, or straight out in the stock market, or whatever else you want to do. There's a whole lot of different investment options to it. They have some managed options now too that are combinations of stocks, bonds, and safe stuff that actually you give them a year toward close to when you wanted to retire, and then they will manage it just like a fund manager would up to that point, with different balances that change as you get older. So that's pretty good.
And that's what they were saying with this one. It's people like who look after those funds that would probably be conned to say, "Oh, this looks like getting on the ground floor and make a lot because it looks good." And if a lot of those people are not looking at all the things, "Oh, we'll go into that," and then it's mugs like us while we wonder why our retirement fund just takes forever to go up. It's putting in lots, and he says, "Hang on, it's not getting any higher. It's going lower a little bit, then it goes higher a bit." But I don't know about you, but they have here with that, you can leave it for them to do, or you can get on the internet, you can do it your own way, put it in this much. But I just never, I think you messed up if you do, and you messed up if you don't. If you don't do anything, they say, "Well, it's your fault. You had the chance to get involved yourself." And then if you get involved, "Oh, well, you didn't let us do it, so you stuffed it up." So whichever way and I just think, well, and if I'm not that skilled, I'm going to leave it to, if they can't do it, these people who it's their job to do it, who am I to stop them from doing it? People say, "Oh, but you've got to get involved." So, well, I don't know. They think you've got to be really skilled at that, but it's. I don't try not to look at it and pretend it's never going to be there. So if it turns out to be, if it all disappears, I'll be disappointed, but I won't know how much is there to be worried about.
Well, there you go. That way, if it all disappears, you really won't know how much you lost. that'll be nice.
Yeah, but now you've said it. I'll be worrying about it now. I'll be thinking about it.
I haven't looked at mine for a while either, and I didn't need to go take a look at it. Yeah. So, what did you do in tech this week?
Well, what I was still got I've been getting quite annoyed with myself this week because I've had the cameras out again, and I don't know if you do any photography, but I'm in that rut at the moment. Everything I take looks really awful, or maybe I'm just too critical of what I take. But I can't get a decent picture.
One of my wife's favorite sayings to apply to me is, "You are your own worst critic." And I mean, I had a guy at work. I was talking about my audio and was complaining about something. I said, well, there's something going on. And he goes, just shut up. You've got the best audio that I know of. He said, it sounds like professional audio. And he says, I've never heard anything that you put out that doesn't sound professional. So just shut up and submit it and get on with it. And I was like, okay.
And this is all I could come up with. I did. I did two.
Yay! Oh, I like that. Gotta have the nose. I like it. Okay, I'm still seeing the picture. Are you still on there? Oh, here's some more. Yeah, railroad crossing. Nice. You've got good compositional skills. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. That's somebody's bicycle tied to it. Okay. Very cool.
Really silly. No, the chain
that looked really good.
Oh, well, that's good, because I thought I was getting quite annoyed. But then again, you do take lots. I took 80 pictures that day. And that's all I could come up with that I liked out of the three.
I have,
or to make three.
I have not. I mean, I used to do photography religiously. It was before I got into podcasting, and I have a Flickr site, that's still there. And I checked it the other day, and I think there's like 800 pictures on it or something. But I've got, I use them for. A lot of them for blog posts and stuff like that. But I mean, they're a little bit lower resolution, which really is good, and instead of being such high resolution. So for a blog post, it's just perfect, and there's a bunch of
and I do some of that for work with some of my e-learning modules. I had to come up with something that I wanted to indicate payment methods, and so I didn't have anything. So I happened to have $250 in my wallet, some 50s and the 10s and that. So I laid it all out and took a picture of that. You go. Cut it out. And then I thought, check, how do it? Oh, so I've got my checkbook there. So I took a picture of my check. And then I'll really get fun out of that, because I thought, well, it's using it for something else. But when you've got a reason behind it, I tend to be able to do it better. But if you're just doing it for art's sake, or if you, for want of a better word, I tend to struggle a little bit. There was something else I did in my technology. Oh, that's what I was going to say. Yes. Other one I was testing out all my microphones for the show. And I don't know if you caught up. I did another live stream on YouTube last night.
No, I didn't go over and look again. I did do the video for last week, but what I was doing was editing last week's show all night long. I mean, not all night long, but for the last few hours to get it.
All night long.
Yeah, all night long. No,
night long.
All night. Okay, I will. I'll be uploading it after we get done this morning. But anyway, I got it all edited out and stuff like that. So I do some editing.
that made me. That was a bit strange before, and I thought, there's something happened in my Dropbox, and I thought, when did I record that? And then I thought, it's Jeff. It's Jeffrey's weird, because it said weird noise.
Yes,
just a few minutes ago. I thought, hang on, I haven't done any weird noise. What's this weird file? Oh, then I realized.
I put that in there specifically because I was going to see if you could play it during the show, because I made a huge recording mistake this week when I was trying to do a demo, and that noise was actually part of the story.
Oh,
and so I was going to have you to play the noise before you play it. I'll give you the background on it. I've talked about my sound booth here behind me. It is completely isolated in the center of the house on the second floor. So extraneous noises. I mean, there's closets on two sides. There's also a huge stone fireplace, cinder block and stone fireplace around it. On the outside wall here are bookcases, and then this door here opens into this room, which does have some sound treatment. Well, there's no external noises at all that can really penetrate the space. But what I have heard from time memorial about when you're recording, always wear headphones and monitor what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I didn't. And I did three takes. Well, because it's a sure thing. I turn off the air conditioner or the furnace because there is a duct junction that kind of comes into the little space there, and then it goes off. So I turn that off so I don't have to worry about that coming on. The door is closed. There's a fortress around this little booth to where nothing can penetrate the space. But I did my audition for the audiobook I was going to do, and then I come out here and I'm hearing this noise, and I'm thinking, what is going on? So the next day I came in and I came home from work, turned off the air conditioner, or I'm sorry, ignitioner, and started. I remember that, and started the recorder with both microphones going on two different channels, a dynamic and a condenser. Closed the door and went down, put away my lunchbox, did all the things like that, and was gone for a while. And when I came back, that noise, and I have amplified it quite a bit, was on it. And I finally figured out where it came from. But you cannot hear it in the air. Even when it wasn't in the air. It wasn't there when I was doing it. You can't hear it at all. But this noise, if you could play it, this noise was on the recording when there was no one in the booth. It wasn't like I kicked a chair or anything. No one was there. And this noise, which I have amplified, it was actually in the recording.
I'm trying to play, but Wirecast doesn't like WAV files, so it won't import it.
Okay, I should have.
But it doesn't matter. But it doesn't matter what I'm doing. I'm bringing it into Audition. See, you can do all these sorts of things with the one. And then I'm amplifying it a little bit more. So, and then if I put that onto this, I'm sorry, I'm just going to lay it over the top of your head for a moment, so you won't see it. And then I'm just going to see if I can.
Just play it a few times.
You can, but if you'll have to. Can you see my audition?
Yes.
Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, so now it should play through the thing if I play that now. So.
No, that's cool. Okay, I can't hear you now. I have to redirect the sound again. Okay, now you're not talking again. Yeah, I see your mouth moving, but uh-oh. At least I'll know for future reference to send you an MP3 instead of a wave. What? I can't see anything. Do you have to completely close Audition in order for that to work? So it would release? You see, I can see you, but the audio has not been redirected now. Hmm. If you make me a host, will the blab stay open? And then you could come out and come back in. I think it's, oh, there, I hear music. I don't hear your voice, but I hear music. Still nothing on the voice, just the music. Still no voice.
Got sound as well.
There you are. I got your voice now.
I could see on there that it wasn't doing it, but that's what I'll never do again through Audition. Now I've got to say, tell all my followers that we're on. So,
okay.
But well, I could see after all the time when you were saying I could see the sound not coming through from me, but the music. What did you hear the noise after all that?
No.
You hear the noise
as soon as the music was playing, and then you just popped out.
Yeah, but you didn't hear the before that.
Oh yes,
yes. When I played Audition, yes.
I heard the noise and I heard an echo when I spoke, so I stopped talking at that point. So I will know to send you an MP3 the next time. But anyway,
yes.
But
after all, excitement.
That noise was interesting because I had turned off, like you say, this booth is so isolated and there's nothing from the outside that can penetrate. But that noise was in the booth when I was not in there kicking or hitting anything, nothing. So, you know, have you heard of them EVPs or whatever, where it sounds like ghosts and stuff like that? You know, they'll record somewhere. I had just heard, I heard of that the other day, and I thought, oh, I got me no. What happened was when I turned off the ignitioner, when I turned the air conditioner off, after a few minutes, and the ductwork starts to warm up, there's some contraction, and there's this little doom thing going on. And since there's a junction of the ductwork coming up into the room in that corner right there, and then it goes to the opposite bedrooms, this room and then the other room on the other side. Then a few minutes in to that was about 2 minutes and 30 seconds after I'd turned the recorder on. So probably about 3 or 4 minutes after I'd turned off the air conditioner, the ductwork starts contracting and making noise like that. And so it's completely inside the booth, but you can't hear it.
No, it's just so subtle.
Well, and since it is attached to the walls and to the shelf that I have the dynamic microphone on, and even though they have shock mounts, it translated up through the solid through the wall and into the microphones, but you can't hear it in the air. So not wearing my headphones while I was recording, because I thought, I don't need that. I know what's happening in here. All I had to do was check my levels and knew I was getting a good recording. Didn't happen. It was all through the recording that I had done, and it slowly got worse. The first take I did just one recording with 3 takes. I just did it 3 times and then come through, and it got worse as far as it went. It was about a 10-minute take. It just kept getting worse. So what I have to do is turn the air conditioner off and then wait for a while before I do the recording, so that I don't get those contraction sounds translating up through the solid of the wall into the microphones.
Because I know exactly what you mean. I know with my air conditioner here, if you switch it off, there's a lot of noise that comes. If you switch the one from upstairs, there's a lot of noise going through the pipes, and that. But at least you can hear that. But that's the thing is, sometimes I don't have the monitor, the recording things, because I'm sick to death of keep stopping, starting, re-recording, and you can't hear what you're hearing a lot of the time on the recording. Right. And so he said, no, it's okay. Just get over it, and it's much quicker to do the recording sometimes, because you keep hearing it. What was that noise? And that was a cat. But you record it and get over it. But I had the same sort of thing this week with audio, as I was just saying before. I like to do a quick test the night before, We do, just to make sure everything's set up. So now, because you can stream live on YouTube, I do that. I click on the button like on here. All I have to do is click on the word stream, and it goes straight to YouTube. So, but the only thing is, on this Wirecast, it doesn't sound too bad on Blab, because Blab takes whatever sound we have and just it's mono.
Okay.
But what YouTube does, it takes your 2 channels and puts it on there. Whereas this is just one left channel. And on YouTube, it just sounds like I'm coming out the left channel.
That's weird.
And you cannot split it into a mono signal.
That's sad.
On that, yeah, I'll have to put it through another mixer, pan it through to 2 ones, so I can get a good sound. Because if you have a look at my little promo, everything else is okay apart from my voice. But what I do when I get the Blab version of it, I can always put the mono channel on the right channel as well, which increases the volume and makes it quite nice. So what I did last night, I wasn't too happy, because I thought, oh gee, that sounded a bit awkward. So I got that's why they're all off. I thought I'll try the Procaster this week, and got that all set up. And now when you get this one here, the what do they call it, the Studio Project one that I'm using, this might become my favorite. But after that being so good, this one was really great before, but now it doesn't sound that good. And I had it on a different thing. Oh, that doesn't sound, I can still hear it's making a bit of a noise. I thought, then I thought, well, I know how I can get a stereo signal through this is by using my I forgot another. My PG42.
Yes.
My Shure PG42, and and there's another shock mount. Quite a good microphone there.
Yeah, okay.
I thought I'd use that, but then I put that in, and that sounded, after you've got these better ones, that sounded awful. It had a stereo sound, and but it was awful, because it's not amplified like the XLRs have got a better amplification on them, and it just sounded awful compared to. And so I had every microphone, and I tried on every different thing, and I ended up back with this because I thought, well, I'm really impressed with this one for the Studio Projects one. For what was it? It's about $249, I think they are. So, but I thought damn good value for that. But I mean, sometimes it might sound really expensive, but people say this is the same sort of quality as some of the ones you pay $1,200 for. Wow. But I really did. But that's what I went through. And like you said, your friend said, just get over it. Probably sounded really okay. But I didn't think it did either. I didn't think it sounded good at all.
The guy back here in the back with the bone guy there. I see that microphone down there below him. That's my first podcasting microphone. It was actually given to me. It's a Samson C01.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see a lot of the Samsungs around.
Anyway, I had used that for the first 6 months or more of my podcasting, and it's a condenser, and I was in a treated space, so of course that's fine. But all of a sudden, I compared it to the condenser I was using in the booth, and I could not believe how much self noise this microphone has. And if you go online and look, they talk about how noisy that microphone is. And I mean, it's just, and then this one in here is virtually, it's silent. And then all of a sudden that one, and I had been using this for 6 or 7 months, of course, using noise reduction in Audacity and stuff like that. But I was like, I've been using this noisy microphone for 6 months, but I was blissfully unaware, and so it didn't concern me much. I thought, I was trying to keep the volume down around 6 or 7 or so, and dealing with that. And so I did do it. But again, when I plugged in headphones to listen to it, once I got my Zoom H5 recorder, and then I plugged headphones in and listened to it, then that was when I detected all that noise. But I had no idea that it was going into my recordings until I started listening with headphones, because what I was doing was just recording and saying, okay, this is what I've got, and then working with it inside the computer. And I was using headphones to edit with, but I wasn't using headphones monitoring what I was actually listening to. And I did notice the first time I put headphones in the booth was when my wife and I were doing our podcast about the state of West Virginia, and she kept looking away from the microphone and talking to me.
Yeah, lots of missing. Yeah.
We were sitting side by side in the booth, and she was turning away from the mic and looking at me. And so I was thinking, well, how can you do that? And I heard somebody on a podcast about podcasting say, put headphones on them. Then they can hear whenever they look away. They can hear the difference in the sound, and they come back to it. It's just automatic. And so I put headphones on her and never had that problem again.
You don't have to tell them, because if I go away, if I'm over here, I know exactly I've got to get back over there to make it back there, because you can hear it straight away on there. But that's a good thing. You don't have to tell them. So just put headphones on.
Yeah. Oh, that way they feel official. And they feel official, So, it always works well. It's great stuff.
I'm quite liking these little earphones. It took me a little while to get used to them, but once I do, it's quite good rather than having the headphones. But it's because most of the time you just want something to monitor the sound, and I like that you can do both the ears on this, so but they're not sort of too in the way, and you can hide the cable down, and it has a little thing that tightens it up so it doesn't come down, each ear comes out, so it tightens it up at the back of your head. So
that'd be nice.
It just goes straight down the back. So as I said, there was $99.
I've kind of been toying with the idea. I have a a little.
You had to have had something.
A 4-channel mixer here.
Now, that's exactly what I was looking at yesterday.
Okay. Now, one of the things I would say, if you're going to buy one, don't buy this one. Ray Ortega, this one was actually given to me, believe it or not. But Ray Ortega did a shootout between this and 3 other mixers. At just go to rayortega.com. And anyway, this one I think was the one he didn't like the most, and it was mainly because of how noisy the preamps were. And so, anyway, I mean, but as long as you keep it down and you use gain staging and stuff like that, you can do it. But this audio through this just plugs straight in USB is sounding so well on here and on the audio recordings that I'm playing with here that I kind of hate to put anything else in between and introduce some noise. And so that's why I haven't brought it in. But if I had this, I could actually possibly input audio myself into the Blab if I got it set up right, but it may take us a while on one of the reasons, you've got equipment there that you're working with, and occasionally, you have a little bit of trouble with it because of, whatever's happening with the bandwidth or whatever's happening. And mine is very simple and it's working. And so I didn't want to introduce another element into the thing of, because if I can get in and hold the place while you're getting back in or something, then that works good. But I kind of hate to mess it up with something on this end.
Well, what's happening with me is just because I want I'll just show you what I want to do. So I don't know if it'll do anything. Hope it doesn't make me disappear again. But if I go on here, you'll see me going infinite loop on that. But I don't know if you can see my audio flapping up on the sides on that.
Yes, on the left, sir.
But see, when you speak, yours came up through the other channel.
I can hear it again.
Because that's coming through. Yeah, so that's you coming through the channel. But what I want to do, I want to make it do dual channel. So what I've got to do, I'll just show you what I do have. Let's see if I can do. Yeah, there's one. See, I've got down there, I've got it going through the Onyx, or I've already got it go through the Aphex. That's where the microphone's driven off. It's from the Aphex. Nice. And it's going up there, and that's coming out of there, going into the Onyx and going through the USB back into the computer and coming back out to you. But this one, what I've got, I'm just getting the pure mono sound out of it.
Okay.
So, and that's what's going into. So I need to be able to split that mono sound into 2 to the left and the right. But that's why I just need that little bit of a splitter on there. So this is my little touchpad I'm using back to go on there, so I'll use everything and go back to that. Okay. So, but that's what these good little cameras is. I like these because you can just move it around and show what you're doing quite easily.
No, that is cool.
Makes a big difference. But that's what I want, something like that.
Okay, go to podcasterstudio.com and you can find a shootout talking about this particular mixer here, and then 3 that are in the same basic category. Podcasterstudio.com.
Studio. I don't mind trying ones that I just hate getting things when that won't do what I want, and that's all I want it for. Like, I'm getting good enough sound, but if I could just get that second sound, because then because what, as I was saying the week before, I would like to be able to just stream straight to YouTube. Okay. But if I can't get a decent sound, I'll be doing half and half. So yours won't come through too badly because it will come through from Skype if we did that. So that should come through okay. But I'll have to organize a time when have a little play on that, get you on Skype, and then see if we can see if it would go through and work through.
There's also the possibility of a double ender. I could record mine on this end and then just put it in the Dropbox for you, and you would get a good local copy of me that you could attach to yours and sync it up, and off you go.
Yeah. What do you mean for sound? No, well, I'm fine after the fact, but I'm just saying if I want to stream, I can't. I want to do when it's live. You can't do that. Like that's what I do with our show now. It comes through okay on Blab, but on the recording, it will just come through the one channel. But it doesn't matter. I can always put when I go into Final Cut, I'll just duplicate the channel onto the left or right channel, whichever one, and it evens the volume up. But I want something to be able to do that in a live stream, whereas if I put my USB mic on there, it comes because the USB mic comes through 2-channel mono, whereas these XLRs are just mono, they're not stereo.
Right.
Whereas USB thing, and so if I use my other, not this microphone, if I use my Rode NTG2 live boom microphone with the Shure XLR to USB adapter, that works because the USB adapter converts the signal into a stereo.
Okay.
But it's just so confusing, all the different ones, when you just got to get, and then, but if I can't use that on this because that USB adapter hasn't got enough power to drive this microphone.
The whatever. Now, is the one you have, is that a like a broadcast dynamic, or is it a condenser that you're working with there?
This is a condenser.
Yeah, so you had to have the phantom power and everything.
Yeah, so it's the phantom power. With that other one, the Procaster is a dynamic, which doesn't need it. But then that won't. This is where the thing that won't work very good with the Aphex because it doesn't like amplification very much. It works better with the lesser amplification. It works better with less amplification because it says, well, I haven't got really enough signal to do anything with. So that's why this one. And so I'm really happy with my Aphex that I got it fixed and it's working. But now I'm a bit upset that I got it fixed because I got my new one sat there not doing anything because I've been testing this one out. But then I suppose it can still put up the big bottom there, but I'm tearing that down. So I don't like it too, because it goes too deep sometimes like that. So, but it's quite good. It's good for the. I can't, if I yell or say it too much, it doesn't peak. That's where the good thing is on that. Whereas without that, it will peak. But anyway, it's a pity. So I know next time, don't open Audition and put that on the screen for you to get the sound out of, because it destroys the rest of my sound. So I'm never going to do that again on that very quickly. But now I have on the Wirecast, I have a proper setup for the weekly catch-up. So I've got rid of all the other stuff that's got nothing to do with us and just leaving it for that one there. But it's quite good on Ustream, not Ustream, on Wirecast. I can record the signal I've got from here, but I'm not going to bother because the only signal I'm getting is me. I'm not getting you because I'm broadcasting. I'm not receiving you. The only time I receive you is when I've got the window open showing you, and then your sound comes through Wirecast. But other than that, it doesn't do that. That's why if we was on YouTube, I'd bring you into here, into Wirecast. I would get the screen where your Skype was on, and grab the audio and put that in there, then output that back, just press a button to stream to YouTube, and you can also stream straight to Blab. So if we did that, we could also have a try with Blab, so we have one big screen with us both split it into there.
Okay.
you can do that, and then you can have much better quality. But you can have better quality for YouTube because you can do it up onto 720p or 1080p, but 720 is more than good enough because this one just does it at I think it's 420p, doesn't it? I think it's only 420.
Yeah, I haven't got so much into. I mean, I know there's the different resolutions and stuff, but I haven't really done much video. I've always been audio oriented, so I try to make sure it isn't too big to have to do with to cause any kind of trouble as far as that goes. But it seems like it's I don't even know what resolutions to use on different. I don't want it too small, but I don't want it too big either. But you're the video man. I kind of stick with audio.
Yeah.
But
it's
Oh no, that's all right. I was going to say right here, I'm on the other monitor. I've got Ray Ortega's channel, trying to find that particular. He's got a podcast about it, but he's also got just a complete channel. And he's probably has a video on it as well, but he shows all these different things. Just Ray Ortega on YouTube. You can find him on there too.
Oh, we've also got Armani in the room. I'll just see. Oh, he likes my background. So, well, that's a picture of where I live. Armani, it's Melbourne. Yes. So, shall I get out the picture? That looks better without me in it. So, without me in it. So, that's what that is as well. So, I had been playing around. We can do that. So, this is another shot of Melbourne. I can do that. Well, that's here's another shot. I think was that the same ones we had before? I think that's the same one. Or else we can go out of Melbourne and go to Yosemite.
We travel the world just in a few seconds. No, Armani, he's got Armani. When it comes to video, Jeff is the official video guy. I mean, he has the equipment and the newsroom,
the CNN studio.
So, what type of?
I still like just
what type of files are those there to where you can get your to where they, I mean, what type of file are those images?
Just JPEG photo.
Okay, so
JPEG photo. Apart from the newsroom, the newsroom is a 3-second video that just clicks up and down. It's got a bit of move, because you'll notice if you see that in the background with the, or if you see the newsroom, you can see it flickering about. But if you have a look at the assistant in the background, his head keeps twitching because it just flicks back every few. You can see just where his head must be on. You can just see that flicking back. You can just see it flick every. You see his head. But it's 3 seconds worth of video that just keeps going round and round and round and round.
But hopefully,
but people don't notice.
But hopefully, they're looking at the talking head in the front.
That's right. Yeah, so it shouldn't make any difference.
Armani says he likes my microphone. It says it's clear and looking good. It's actually.
Oh, that's good.
No, it's actually one of the modern advances in microphone technology, because it's a pretty cheap microphone, but it really works well for these purposes. And it is called the Audio-Technica AT2005 microphone. And it has an XLR connection on it that you can use, but it also has, and these can be used simultaneously and going to different sources. The USB connection, good. And I'm using the USB connection right now. Wait a minute, just a second. For an early Father's Day,
I'll put William on.
For an early Father's Day gift, my wife I asked for another one. And this is what it looks like.
Oh,
it's because we needed a spare. I have one in the booth and I have this one here, but we may be doing some things off of her computer with her doing it too. So let me pull this out and I'll show it to you.
Is that the same as you're using now?
That's the one on here. Now, of course, I have a little shock mount on it and stuff too, and that. But here's the actual microphone itself, and this light comes on when you do USB. But look at the bottom of it.
Oh, good.
There's the bottom of it.
Oh, okay.
It's got XLR and also a completely. This is an earphone. Yeah. Yes, you can monitor with zero latency, but you can also. I can actually set this up to where the audio from the Blab is coming through it as well, even though that's not how I'm set up. I'm actually plugged in to the computer down there. But this has to be this and the ATR 2100. I just checked, and these things are around $80 now, but they've been as low as the 30s, and they go on sale every now and then. So you gotta watch. I have an Amazon affiliate link on my website, holbrooknewmedia.com. But every so often when I go to check my website, I'll just reach over there and type in ATR 2100 and see how much it is today. Because if I find them cheap, I might buy 2 or 3 of them. But these things sound almost as good. They have more sibilance, but they sound almost as good as, say, the Heil PR40, some of these broadcast dynamic type of microphones. But I love these things because they're cheap, but you can't tell. Now, the other reason why my sound may be a little better than is because of sound treatment in this room. I've got I have my sound booth behind me that I use, and that's just one great big absorbing thing. But I also have sound treatment up on the wall up above me. See up through there, and
do the spiders bounce? Does the sound bounce off the spiders?
This was my daughter's room, and those are metal ant sculptures. Because she had, you notice the walls are kind of green, but we had a jungle room for her when she was still here, and I just left the ants up here because I thought they were funny, and I'm sure it breaks up some sound, but it doesn't do anything else. But the actual foam and stuff like that really comes in. Now Jeff is covered pillar to post with the stuff. I just have
that's my recording area.
So that's what he has, and I have a booth behind me that I actually close that door and go in there and do that, and I have a condenser microphone in there. But using a dynamic when you're online here can actually cut out a lot of extraneous noise, and it's also possible to if you have some sound treatment and a dynamic like this, you can actually get some really, really good sound on here. On my profile, there's a thing that you can click on and go see an article that I wrote about that stuff, about sound treating your space and how to get good sound on Blab. Still talking to Armani. And so anyway, if you want to, but I will tell you, just in full disclosure, there are affiliate links on there. It doesn't cost you anything extra, but I would get a little referral fee if you did buy something that's listed on that list. But whether you buy anything or not, it doesn't matter. Just look at it, and it gives you some pointers on getting the kind of sound that I get on here, even though I'm just using basically a cheap microphone and sound treatment, and that makes all the difference in the world in your sound whenever you're on Blab. Now,
what upset my sound last week though is I actually changed my green screen, as you saw, from, I don't know, so if you this saw the green screen, if I show you that one, and it's much neater in that. But what I had down there the other week though was it covered the whole wall, and it was a big thicker green screen that was draped right down, and now it's taken away a bit of that sound dampening from it because it was so there's a little bit more. It's not quite as good as it was before, so that was a bit disappointing. But then again, I'll just keep hearing it anyway. So, but your Windows, aren't you, Jeff? So that's what Manny was asking, whether you're Windows or
yes, I am Windows. I have a computer that has 16 gig of RAM and has a nice gaming card in it. I can't remember how many gigs are on that. And anyway, the computer is pretty quick, but it is a Windows computer. I'm using a Logitech C920 webcam. I don't have a fancy cam like Jeff's got there. Jeff has some really, really nice equipment, very professional level equipment, and for the audio and stuff like that. Yeah, see if you can show him some of your stuff you have there.
Well, the camera.
There you go.
Well, that's a cam. Just trying to get to the camera because that's because the light gets in the way for the camera. The other camera on because that's a 1080p, well, an HD camera. It's not a 4K because I thought that was too much anyway. But then that's my other audio equipment down there, and that. But even then, compared to some, mine's just nothing compared to some people who are really into it. I keep thinking it's, I think I've got a lot, but it's nothing compared to what a lot of people go to. So.
Yeah, it's well, he's saying he's watching me and his TV now, and he can tell that my camera is not that clear. It's good, but not very good. No, it isn't. This is a webcam. Like you say, it's not a professional camera like Jeff has. But these things now they come up with a newer model, so now they're like around $60 or something like that. This camera is, and that's what I have. I have not done video that much. Jeff is the video guru. I'm pretty much stuck with audio, and so I still have a webcam and, like you say, non-super professional equipment for video purposes, simply because I've never done video. I've always done audio. So Jeff, though, has had gear acquisition syndrome over the last few years, and he's gas. Yeah. And so no, he has been into video, and so he has accumulated the fancy video stuff that any person would, like I would have if I'd been in the video. But audio has been my thing, so I have cheap video stuff.
Well, the thing is, I find it more so is it wasn't out of a thing to get a better video camera. It was the webcams, when you wanted to light yourself a little bit better, they think it's too bright and make it too dull, because then they dull themselves down. So it says, oh, it's too bright. Whereas this camera, I can set up, I've got it set at 2.8 and 1/50th of a second, the speed, so I can move and it's not going to be too bad. But then it's set there so I can brighten myself up, and it doesn't make much difference on there as well. So that's
you mentioned that the things behind me were changing color the other day, and that my face was a little bright. Well, my wife, we were watching one of them on your YouTube channel, and my wife mentioned that my head was really looking shiny. And so I did adjust my light a little bit today, and it doesn't seem like the things are changing colors behind me anymore. It doesn't seem.
Just have to put a hat on or something.
No, that's actually my superpower. Reflection. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, well, that's just what happens.
I was just going to say, Armani wants to come. Do you want to let Armani in for just a moment? Shall we let him in to say hello? And that costs, I'll just see if he's still there. Let's see what Armani has to say.
There he is, looking at his phone.
Here we go.
Yeah,
so he's got his phone. Also, he's showing us on his phone, us on the phone, I think. So quite strange. Yeah. But see how I've got it on a 23-inch monitor, and I think that's not big enough to watch it on. But he's got it on the phone.
I haven't ever done it anywhere but right here where I'm at. And I've never done it except just right here on the computer with this webcam. But I see people doing it off of tablets and all kinds of different things. There we are. Yeah, we can see that.
There we go.
Excellent.
There we go. It's just putting us down on this. Yeah, it's got it on the. Oh, is it on the? Oh,
yeah. He said he was watching on a television.
He's got an L.
I like it.
Yeah, it's got it, but it's.
Appreciate that.
Okay, it's gone. Oh, that was good. Thanks for showing us that, Armani. Well, we're nearly at the end of our time. I always come on here and do our weekly catch up and think, what are we going to talk about for an hour? And then when it gets, my goodness, we've been over an hour. Because we came in about 10-2, didn't we? So,
I would like to talk about a pick of the week if you don't mind.
Just yes, quick. Do that first, definitely.
Dave Jackson, I mentioned him earlier. He's been podcasting for 11 years. I believe he was the original podcast about podcasting, and he's still doing it. It's 500 episodes right in that area somewhere. And it's schoolofpodcasting.com. He actually does have a school of podcasting where you can do it, but it's not like some of these people that throw together something real fast and charge you a few $1,000s and we're going to teach you how to make money podcasting. It is I know the guy personally, and it is a very, very, he's a very honest man for one thing, which really is amazing to find in this day and time for the most part. But he is also honest about if he makes a mistake, he apologizes for it. He just is a person who cares about other people and really, really wants to help them. But one of the interesting things about him is his show, schoolofpodcasting.com, is like a 80s or 90s morning radio show. He's talking about how to podcast, technical stuff, and people who podcast and all kinds of stuff. But it's really super entertaining, and you get real good information. But at the same time, it has great. Sometimes little skits and things that he does, kind of like Johnny Carson, it has occasionally he does voices, and he'll do little video and audio clips of things. There's this one to where he got this one clip and he played it quite a bit, where this guy was talking about how if he wanted to change his podcast, he just wanted to change it and do something different. And the guy said, nobody's going to punch you in the face. Well, he took that clip, and every time something would happen and somebody said, well, what if I wanted to, and he'd play that, nobody's going to punch you in the face. And so it was, but anyway, but Dave knows his stuff. He knows what's going on, and he will help you any way he can. He even has a quick start thing to help you get your website set up and stuff like that real quick. And just from the commission that he would get by setting you up with Libsyn or whatever, it costs you nothing, and he will actually get you set up. Then you just have to come up with your content and start podcasting. And so anyway, it's schoolofpodcasting.com. Dave Jackson, he's a great guy.
Well, that makes me wonder what you're going to come up with next week. Are we going to do a joke of the week or something, or are you going to do a skit online or something to make it a bit more exciting? And that I'll have to take the camera out and say, now have a look at what we got up to last week, and so we've got to show it in video and do a clip and do some segments on it.
Yes, Armani, this is weekly. We do it this time every week. Like I say, unless somebody goes on vacation or some emergency or something, we meet every week and do this. Jeff has it on his YouTube channel. Jeff Blanchard on YouTube, and then mine, I do the actual audio podcast of it, which is at holbrooknewmedia.com, and the second episode of what we're doing is coming out this morning at 8 o'clock Eastern time in the United States. I'll say that.
And I take the recording and put it into Final Cut and put the beginning and the end of it on it properly with our tags at the top and the bottom of the blab screen, so you can see where we're at, and then we put it back onto YouTube there. But it's all been good fun. So just for the recording, well, we'll probably say goodbye and say that's okay for this week. So catch you next week, Jeff.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye for now.
Yeah.